I want to be able to do a kickflip, not only because they're badass and difficult, but I'll also get to call myself a skater boy. So I hopped on my laptop, did some intense research, and found that there are 3 steps to this skill.
Before doing any tricks, you first have to be relaxed on the board. Wait, that ain't a real skateboard.
Wait, you've never seen a man play with his deck before?
Anywho, even though I was starting out as
Total noob.
I needed to gain some relax.
The best way to do this is to skate around the neighborhood without falling.
It took some practice, but after a couple days,
I was happy with my rolling experience. And so, I decided to jump into the next step. Ollies. The ollie is the most fundamental skill of all skateboard tricks, since it teaches you how to hop on a skateboard. In order to pull it off, you need to place your feet in line with the edge, one in the middle and the other at the end of the tail. Next, you bend down, and as you're coming up, you pop the tail with your back foot. Then, in midair, you scoop the board with the side part of your front foot and then land it. Ollies are all about timing, which is what made it so confusing, since there are so many steps. Messing even one up would mean throwing it too far, or falling, or just bouncing off the board, or plainly doing nothing. I kept practicing, and practicing, and practicing.
until finally, this happened.
Making sure it wasn't a fluke, I kept trying, and luckily, it was dialed in.
And after gaining some more experience,
Wannabe.
I decided to go straight into the next step, flip. The kickflip is like the ollie, except much harder. The only differences are that you want to bring your front foot just under the bolt, and you want to flick your foot just left of the center, which will make the board flip in midair. Or at least in theory. I couldn't get the board to flip over even after a week of practice. This came down to me having inflexible legs, lacking enough strength in my ankles to complete the flick, and failing to control my flick, which would make it look more like a karate kick. So I kept practicing, and although it took quite some time, I was starting to see results. And all I needed to do was land it. You know, the easy part. Ha! Jokes! To express how terrifying it is to see the board spin under you and decide that you're going to land back on it, you need to imagine a cheese grater spinning on steroids and deciding you're going to pass your hand through it. I decided I could get over this fear naturally, so I just kept practicing. I could flip the board consistently, but I couldn't get either of my feet close to the board. And at one point, I got my foot on, but I hurt myself very badly.
And a message from our sponsors. Well, we don't have one, but if you like what you see, click the like, subscribe, and consider joining our Patreon if you want to support us financially. Alright, we're gonna skip past 2 weeks because we didn't learn anything. Alright.
And after that, my fear just got reinforced. For 3 weeks, nothing happened. I would try and do something, nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. I didn't progress at all, and I was getting really frustrated, and quite honestly, I felt incompetent. And it was because of the fear. I was constantly terrified I'd tear an ACL or break a leg, and not the good theatrical kind, you know? And on the day I was debating to quit, my mom came out with me to film. And behind camera, as I was trying to do a kickflip, she started to pray for my success. So I thought, what's there to lose? I'll do a prayer too. God, please don't break my legs. Thanks. Amen. And it worked. I couldn't land it. Far from it. But my fear was gone, which was huge. After that, I quickly noticed 2 things. 1, I was leaning too far back, which was causing the board to go flying forward. And 2, when I was jumping backwards and not straight up because I was afraid to land it. It's not like landing's the whole point of it, idiot. But after I noticed those things, I quickly progressed. I was able to get my front foot on, and rapidly, I was getting really close attempts. Until finally, this happened.
Yes! Woo! Yes!
It took 29 hours of practice over 43 days. After what felt like forever, I finally landed my kickflip, and that meant I was officially a skater boy.